Hello and welcome to FX Street Currency in Play. I am Matt Brown. I'm joined by Eddie Topvik, who is head of FX at ADM. How are you today, Eddie?
Pretty good today, pretty good.
Good. It feels a bit of a quiet day, kind of maybe a little bit risk on after all the news flow we saw last week.
I think it's a combination of holiday time in the Northern Hemisphere, plus also just fed up with the news. Everybody has to tone it down a little bit, I think, for the moment at least.
Understood. Well, let's have a quick look at the headlines, and it's similar stories that we're seeing. Dollar index looks to regain that 93 level post CPI out from last week. Again, euro dollar around the 118. Cable clings to 130 within the tight range, and dollar yen bit above 109, as we've already mentioned. North Korea, the jitters seem to have calmed down a little bit. The rhetoric isn't there, and China kind of stepping in to tell North Korea and Trump to just maybe calm down.
I think actually something else has taken the place. If you look at the headline news, Charlottesville has taken over from North Korea, for good or for bad, depending on your point of view. But it's a tragic situation there. But it's taken away the focus away from Asia a little bit.
Well, let's. You've brought along today a few graphs, and I think let's look at these rather than the headlines. Starting off with euro dollar. Just walk us through this chart here.
It's such a lovely chart. I mean, you've drawn this, I've drawn this, or you can draw it yourself. March, April, it's a straightforward Andrews pitchfork chart, and it has followed the channels between them. It's come down to support, which is the lower tine. It's gone up to the middle tine, used that resistance, gone down, gone above it, and new fresh buying. And most recently, we've gone above it to the upper tine, which we formed that recent high of 119.09-ish, and then come back, dipped below the middle time, but not closed below it. And then Friday's action, we're back above it. At this rate, if it carries on at the moment, the next 2 weeks or so, we could be testing again the 119 area.
Really?
If this follows through. But ultimately, we're still in a bullish situation. You will not, this market is still bullish. All the indicators, lagging indicators, all the moving averages are all pointing higher until you get below, say, 115. Then it's neutral.
Right.
At the moment, it's still pointing higher. It's a nice, beautiful chart. It's the sort of thing that you can use to show Andrews pitchfork and how channel lines work.
So buy for choice still on euro dollar.
I think people have already.
Yeah, understood. Okay, next up we have euro sterling as well. Similar chart.
Exactly. This benefits. This gives you opportunities to look at other things and see. But this is more recent event. We've seen something. This has happened in June, July. They've actually seen the movement there rather than going back. This has only just recently happened, so it's obviously there's something a little bit different here. Again, we're going higher, but the most interesting thing is the 21st century high, which I've marked up there, is 94.12 or thereabouts. That's where we're looking to try higher. You've got big resistance between the high of the market on Thursday, well, Friday really, up to about 91.50. Then there's clear water for about 92.40, 93, 93.70, and then we hit a 21st century high. So as we get higher, the resistance is going to get stronger, but there is an opportunity for it to carry on higher. Once it goes over 91.50, have a pretty good move up from maybe 100 points.
Do you think we could see parity?
That's a long way to go. That's a big ask and a long way to go.
Understood.
If I was to do something for multi-years, then I'm sure we would. And in some planet in this universe of infinity, there is some guys like us talking on, and we're trading at 100 at that point, or 1. But at this particular point, we're nicely moving higher. You'd need to go below 89 to go to neutral. So at the moment, it's looking as if it's going to try higher as well. But there's a bit of resistance at the moment. If we overcome that, there's free water for maybe 100 points.
Fantastic. So onwards and upwards for the euro and cable now really out of favour.
This is why we looked at euro sterling and we looked at euro, which is a nice bullish chart, euro sterling, which started to be bullish, and we then looked at this. We look now at cable, and we had a key reversal up on Friday at the bottom end of a recent market, down for the last 2 weeks. Where's the follow through? Where's the follow through? We're so close to the key 129.26 area, which is the 50% Fibonacci, which is from bullish to neutral. We're so close for that. We form a key reversal. You'd think today we'd see some buying.
Yes.
Where's the follow through? There isn't anything. You're getting moving averages sort of going up, so it's showing that there is the demand there. But it's no real follow through, and I'm a bit concerned about this one, because if we don't see something in the next, say, day or two, then I think you're going to see that 129.25 area being tested, and possibly all the way down to 128.5. So just caution on that one.
Be cautious on cable is the key. And Bitcoin, wow.
It's a great chart.
It's an incredible
great chart.
A lot of people are asking, is this a bubble? That's hard to say. But if we just...
There's always a bubble in Bitcoin. It starts with the same letter, so there's always a bubble. Bubble Bitcoin, Bitcoin bubble, it's the same. Yeah. It's transpositional.
I mean, it's just broken out. Do you see resistance at any point?
Yeah, we're running through most of the resistance I'd projected ahead. I'd said around about the 39.50 area, 39.19, which was that X on the chart marks up basically halfway hesitation. We had a move up, a period of sideways, and then another move up, and that was around about the 39.20 area. We're above that now. We've had our first close above it, which was yesterday. We're having another attempt on the high side. This is all buying North Korean based, if you think about it, because it's mainly the Chinese and Japanese who are buying Bitcoin. They're big involved in this particular product. So therefore, they're the ones who've been buying this as a safe haven, along with the yen and various other things like that. So yes, there is resistance above the market, but really the next one is around about 4,600.
And interesting you say safe haven, so Bitcoin now has that status of...
It's had that for a while. Because you've got
over gold, do you think now?
No, it's a parity. I've said this again and again. It's the 21st century equivalent of gold. You've got a store of value and a medium of exchange. So you can't wear it as jewelry unless you have a big gold B or something like that. But the whole thing behind it is it's a store of value. There are other coins. There are other coins. There are other coins than this. So you can look at Ethereum, Litecoin, Redcoin, and various other ones. And that market is growing. And I'm not sure if it's come over the size of gold as a market itself, but it must be very, very close to it. And there's an finite supply of this, which is going to be running out in the next few years. So consequently, though the miners may be coming through, there'll be a limited amount of this. And it is being used as, if you don't have access to many things, as say, for example, in China, you don't necessarily, you don't have many access to financial products, this is one of the ones, those who are obsessively, you can get involved in.
Understood. Right, and to finish off, let's have a look at the economic calendar. Very, very light. We've had to dig
Everybody's on holiday.
Mine deep and look for announcements coming tomorrow. So it's a very quiet day. I mean, I think mindful of CPI data coming out tomorrow in the UK and retail data as well. So I think from the US, I should say. Yeah. So I think that's going to draw focus. But for today, the theme feels a little bit more risk on, but tentative in volume.
As I said, the news has moved away from one particular area of the world to another part of the area of the world. But also, interestingly, the retail sales that came out from China overnight were not as good. And I saw a commentator, which I think is actually valid, he put it down and said, they didn't buy any new smartphones. It's really the smartphone purchasing. They didn't go to the level that people had anticipated, so that's it. So don't read too much in that data. It's not the worst data in the world. It's not the best, but it's not the worst data in the world. So at this particular point, people have moved away from that to another area, which is the media have been focusing on. When that goes back to North Korea, should it go back to that one, then I think you'll see an interesting issue.
Good stuff. Well, Eddie, thank you very much for joining us today on Currency in Play.